There are a number of strategies that North American companies are applying quite regularly when it comes to finding the right talent and then managing the reality that there are different immigration policies that might be beneficial, in some cases in Canada. And where we saw this really explode was during the Trump administration, where the lottery became very challenging. There were a lot of refusals, and companies were losing their foreign talent. And so I can tell you as recently as, in the last quarter and over the last several years, you'll find more and more companies that are US based starting to de-risk immigration. And with the thought that we might be facing another administration that may be very restrictive on immigration, the view is sort of erasing the border from the commercial equation and figuring out, where do we bring talent in quickly? How do we make sure from a personal perspective our talent footprint has a pathway to remain in the country? So that might very well be bringing them into Canada, giving them the opportunity to work remotely from Canada on US matters, but making sure the family can ultimately stay, obtain permanent residence, and then look at US immigration on assignment. So they can still get that US experience, but have a really stable underlying status. And I found that companies are much more strategic, and even in anticipation of changes, they see a lot of value in this type of modeling. When you deal with large projects, for example, there is some benefit when you look at the 30% differential on the dollar. So if you're a US company and you're staffing in Canadian dollars, you're saving 30%, and we're in an era where every dollar really makes a difference. So I think these are some of the strategies that companies are thinking about. We call it immigration design thinking, which means stepping back and understanding, where do you need the skills, where can you find them, how do we ensure that there's an immigration policy that facilitates thoughtful entry. And I think that type of thinking will hopefully help companies compete in the next year or two. Greenberg Hameed was launched about 2.5 years ago. Myself and my fellow co-founder, Howard Greenberg, had extensive experience with large immigration practices globally and in Canada. And we have a group that's very passionate about immigration and makes a big difference in the response from clients.